conversations with some of the greatest spiritual teachers, luminaries, and healers of today's world. Usher in new earth by living in your sacred heart. Quantum Conversations is brought to you by acoustichealth.com, home of music from the universe, online healing retreats, and this program. Claim your free registration to daily shows at acoustichealth.com. acoustichealth.com, your portal to the inner realms. Our program starts shortly. Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. And welcome, everyone. This is our broadcast for today, and this is truly our heart space where we come in and we elevate our vibration and we focus on new earth. This is our new earth creativity, and it is time, as we know, now more than ever, to get wildly creative for new earth. And that's why I am very pleased to bring to you today my guest, who is a New Earth way shower. She's a representative of New Earth, an inhabitant of New Earth, and she is here to assist all of us in holding that vision, seeing the vision, and really becoming the state of consciousness that is New Earth. Let's meet Queen Michele. Hello, Queen. Welcome to Quantum Conversations.
Hi, Lauren. Happy to be here.
We are happy to have you and introduce you to our global community. We are all on board with New Earth and holding our vision of New Earth. And here you are stepping into your New Earth leadership, and all of us are doing that. And we're going to hear about your story and what happened in your awakening. It is one that has taken you to a place of paradise on our planet. So that is beautiful. You followed your heart the entire way, and this is what you're here to share with us today. So, Queen, let's start with you. Tell us about this awakening of yours.
Well, before we start this, Lauren, that's a great question. Who is Queen, and what is this awakening that she's had, that she's wanting to share with the rest of the world? If you were to ask me, who is Queen? Who are you? I would say that I am a multidimensional light being, eternal, an extension of source energy, a light worker, a way shower, and a frequency holder, frequency code holder, and a representative of New Earth. That's who Queen is. Now, she hails, rather being born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. And I have a 84-year-old mom that's still living in Detroit. And I moved in 2002 to Las Vegas. I taught in Detroit. I'm a retired school teacher, and I taught and administrated in Detroit, and then moved to Las Vegas in 2002. Lived there 11 years, and I call that my desert, if you will, desert time in Las Vegas. And in 2013, moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where I retired in 2015 from teaching. Mm-hmm. About a year after that retirement, Lauren, I saw the matrix. I saw it for what it would be in my life, meaning I would continue to have to work to supplement the pension from teaching 27 years. So with that, the universe is perfect. This is all in alignment with what my awakening was going to be and how it was going to unfold for me. Because I soon started researching the best places to retire outside the country. And I was led to Lake Chapala. Lake Chapala is in the state of Jalisco, Mexico, and it houses the largest lake in the country. And around that lake are towns and small towns and villages. And I landed in the Lake Chapala area in a small town called San Antonio. But it was there, Lauren, that the awakening truly took place, because I was able to spend time with complete self-discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Lake Chapala, and I just recently wrote a blog from my Flowing and Growing blog called The Energy of Lake Chapala. It's a very strong energy. Back in 1928, I believe, and I can't recall the shaman's name, but he said that this area, this region, would be a part of the Great Awakening. And this was back in 1929. I wrote about it in this blog, but it speaks about the lake itself, the mystical lake. It's a natural, this is not a man-made lake, this is a natural lake. It also speaks about the magical mountains. And then also, Lauren, there's a vortex here. And not soon after arriving here, I started participating in those self-discovery things. 4 months after arriving here, I wound up on a YouTube channel called Jerry Brown Travels. And from there, he interviewed me being a new resident of this lakeside area. And I had so many questions about my move here and how did I do it and why did I do it, after that interview, that I wrote a book called Considerations, A Guide for Moving Abroad. And that was the catalyst, or the very part of the core, if you will, the nucleus of my awakening. Because during the time, and I wrote that book during my first year here, but during the time that book was being written, my crown chakra shot wide open. I started hiking, doing yoga. I lost over 30 pounds. I started having light body activations, and meditation became a daily part of my life. And through that meditation, that's how I learned and became aware of and had the knowingness of who I was, why I incarnated here. And I take great pleasure in being that representative of New Earth during this Great Awakening, because me, I'm planting seeds and watering plants for New Earth living, for the newly and seasoned awakened souls.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Congratulations, kudos, bravo, wonderful. Yes, absolutely. And it's a call of the heart, and you listened, and just the synchronicities, your higher self was getting you in that location, Lake Chapala, yes. And yes. Where you were able to open up. Completely. And sometimes it takes that overseas travel to do that, stepping outside of definitely the comfort zone, but the way of life completely. I myself share something similar to you, Queen. I headed out as a young adult in my 20s, and I ended up in Taiwan, which is completely different.
Yeah.
But it was part of my story that was just so beautiful, and it also allowed me to see things in a different way.
Yes.
Right, from a different perspective. And it's my dream for New Earth that as our education system is being relooked at in so many ways, everything is up for change right now with our global pandemic. And that's a beautiful thing if we can keep our eye on New Earth perspectives. And we're going to talk more about what is New Earth.
Right.
But these new education systems, wouldn't it be lovely if kids in high school had the opportunity, all kids, to go outside of the country? That's a dream for New Earth, as well as a bed for every human.
As part of the curriculum. As
part of the curriculum.
Absolutely. And you know another thing, Lauren, with that, instead of asking the young ones that are coming up, what do you want to be when you grow up? Let's ask them, what would you like to solve? What problem would you like to solve? Not what you want to be, because that guides them straight into the track of working within the matrix. But what problem would you want to solve? Mm-hmm. And that puts them on a track once it's already of being in service in that way. That's New Earth thinking. That's New Earth perspective.
Oh my goodness, I love this, because when we talk about getting wildly creative, it's actually, we're bridging to New Earth, and so we're using, there are some who think it could happen in the blink of an eye overnight. That would be wonderful. Yeah. I love that. There is bridge work that we can do here and now, where it's suddenly, okay, we've talked about this before, where we are going to get to a point, we've talked about this for years, where the masses, the collective, is not going to tolerate things anymore in the same way, especially with all the new light coming in and people's awareness of this and respect more for the planet and everything. And so as that happens, we're seeing that happen this year. Look at what is going on and the quick shifts, and the response is really fast on lots of things. And so schools are changing, everything's changing. So it really is wonderful. And then if you think that they're, like, for example, well, this is not our space to get wildly creative on New Earth ideas, but everything is up for grabs, including systems that the young ones can help us solve.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
So it's beautiful. So I love that aspect, because not what do you want to do, right? But yes, I love that. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So it leads us to the question, what is New Earth? I mean, we're talking about it, and it's like, wow. I'm sure there's some listeners out there with their hands, rubbing together. What is this New Earth?
Yes, so New Earth, that there's some values there and principles, but go ahead and share with us, what is your definition of New Earth?
New Earth is not a place. It's not a place we can get to. It's a state of consciousness, and it's obtainable and livable right here and now. Now, see, as a representative, my light work is done consistently through my blog, Flowing and Growing, and my book, Traveling Home Together. Now, see, that book is the handbook, if you will, to inhabiting that state of consciousness, that state of New Earth consciousness. And when activations take place, when people are starting to awaken, there are so many questions, that they want answered, and just a soft guide. I remember when I had the knowing that I was a light worker. I came across, again, the universe is perfect. I was led to a book called Light Worker's Companion, by Amanda Gildemeyer, I believe. And it was my introduction into exactly how to do the light work I do. And see, I came to understand all of my service work is light encoded, and can and will activate in those who come in contact with my content. See, it's activations, it's resonations when they're ready to hear and know how to move into higher states of consciousness, and ready to accept that it can be done right here and now. New Earth is heaven on earth. We can have that now. We can live that now. Be that, move that, feel that. We can live, move, and have our beingness within New Earth right now. It's a state of consciousness.
Feeling that state of consciousness. And what do you do to maintain and not get distracted?
What's the question? Here's the first thing. Here's the first question. How do I know if I'm an inhabitant of New Earth? There are New Earthers all over the globe. That's what I like to call them. That's my word, New Earthers. New Earthers. New Earthers who are living heaven on earth right here and right now. And with any space, there's a language. The universe has a language, that one being in that higher state of consciousness can recognize, speak, and read, because it comes in all facets. It comes through synchronicities. It comes through music. It comes through numbers. It comes in facets of ways. So there are characteristics that New Earth inhabitants embody, and speaking New Earth language is a huge part of inhabiting that state of consciousness. Now, in this course coming up on the 22nd, Inhabiting New Earth, a state of consciousness, we're going to spend some time creating. See, it's time to transcend language. If you want to live and inhabit New Earth, there's a language that resonates with that, and we have to transcend the language. People get hung up on words, Lauren, in language. Take, for instance, God. How many names does God have? All right? Mm-hmm. We can call off a few right now. We have God. We have Allah. We have Yahweh. We have source energy. We have source. We have divine light. I mean, we can go on with those names. And unfortunately, sometimes if it's not called that one thing, then it can't be. So we have to kind of really transcend language and let those other soft words be okay, and let it define for you how it is. Father, Creator, those names, source, again, are synonymous with all that is. How about that? So we can transcend language, the names of God. And what about the different names for our spirit? We have spirit, we have Holy Spirit, we have inner being, we have higher self. And my particular one that I use in the platform in which I speak and write is soul self. So you will hear that coming from me and out of me quite a bit when I speak about that inner being, that spirit, that Holy Spirit. I say soul self. So in the course, we'll be transcending language, and we're going to be creating some power words, phrases, and mantras that will become part of what I like to call a New Earth starter / toolkit.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, so the power words, let's just do a few examples, because it is... and we know this. We have to be very careful with our words. And what you're talking about
words
is
energy.
Words are energy.
That's right.
And we can feel the vibration.
Yeah.
So this comes with everything that we do. As a New Earth leader, when we apply those words to our business, we look and see, wow, we have to change some things. So I know many people did change some things, but we really, there are limiting words, right? And then some words like money, would you say revenue or flow or currency instead of money? Because that word has so many...
Money has a very low vibration. I absolutely agree with that. But and money is once again, that's abundance is a word that I would use.
Abundance.
Abundance, absolutely. money is what, it's actually duality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It has that such a low vibration to it. In New Earth, we don't. It's like sharing goodies.
That's good.
You know, and it flows. You're absolutely right. And there's no lack. There's no lack.
That's it. See, it's the removal of lack. Truly.
Yes.
Truly. Mm-hmm.
You asked a question. You said, what are the essentials necessary to maintain that energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's some words for energy: frequency, bandwidth. Those are the type of words that are used often in New Earth language. You know, because we recognize, New Earthers, inhabitants of New Earth, recognize that everything is energy. Everything is energy. Words are energy. Some things rocks carry energy. Now, it may be a very low vibration. It may be a very low frequency, but a frequency nonetheless. And it's all vibrational, vibration that has been created by the creators. Us. You know, we put those things, we create our own reality. So there's 6 aspects of well-being that we all inhabit within our human experience. And they can be healthy or unhealthy, balanced or unbalanced. So one of the books that's offered is entitled The Road to Well-Being. And in that book, I discuss each of the 6 aspects that in totality make up our well-being in detail. But in the course, we'll be spending some time creating a check and balance system that will create a more consistent frequency, energy, bandwidth that will be consistent with through our aspects of well-being. Now, we could talk about those aspects right now, or we could, I can give you a few, and then I wonder if you can tell me the rest.
Okay.
All right. So there's financial, physical, spiritual. There's 3 more. Aspects of well-being. So I mentioned what? Financial, physical, and spiritual. There's 3 more. I wonder if our listeners already caught those other 3.
Yeah, because there's the mental, right? That's our mental world.
Right.
And the emotional. The emotional.
The other, and then there's 1 more left. Very good. Yeah, there's 1 more. Yeah, you know what? I can feel the energy. I can feel them saying it already. Social. Yeah, absolutely. So that I've spent a lot of time. It's very important. Like I said, those 6 aspects can be healthy or unhealthy, balanced or unbalanced. And to be able to walk away with a check and balance system that'll keep a consistent balance so that you can maintain the frequency and bandwidth that's necessary, you know, to inhabit New Earth. Heaven on Earth. That's definitely going to be discussed in the course of Inhabiting New Earth, a state of consciousness.
Yeah, I just want to say that is available here on this webpage. There's a link to it. The beautiful thing about it is it's a Zoom video webinar, and it's also includes your books. Your books are part of that. So that's where people can go deep. All right, so I like how... Okay, so it's very interesting. So, you know, we know the spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical bodies, but you've added the financial and the social. And
absolutely.
So I do love that. Let's talk a little bit more about that, because when we're talking about New Earth, some would say that we don't need money, but again, until it goes away, there is a way that we can be empowered with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It will go away in time. This is not going to, although this is quantum and awakenings are happening and unfoldings are happening in quantum speed, when we talk about systems, systemic systems that's been in place, that's not going to happen overnight. But New Earth consciousness, New Earth living says, as it relates to finance, that there's enough for everybody, that there is no lack. And New Earth consciousness also says that when lack presents itself, then there are ways to recalibrate that frequency of money, because again, that's energy as well. And you can calibrate your frequency and bandwidth to abundance. You can turn the pendulum to that perspective and receive abundance. It's about receiving, and it comes in all forms. Financial is, yes, it's one, but it's not all.
All right, I'm hearing the questions. So here, let's do a scenario. We've got folks who are ready to make it happen, and they're running up against a frequency, let's call it a frequency fence, or something that's keeping them from receiving it. So can you show us how you would change the frequency?
How I would not necessarily change the frequency, but calibrate the
frequency. Yes.
It's not changing, it's calibrate. And see, and it's funny that you would mention that. Could you run us through some scenarios? Because in the course, we're going to spend time being guided through role-playing scenarios on ways to stop the negative.
Mm-hmm. That's huge.
And in ease, and that's the key right there, with ease.
Yes.
It's calibrating into a higher frequency more readily. And then in some possibilities, instantaneously. Okay, but it's about stopping the momentum and with ease, calibrating your frequency back to a higher state.
Immaculate awareness, right? It requires awareness.
Absolutely. And and this is constant. These calibrations don't take place, once, in the morning. I'm calibrated. No, you calibrate moment by moment.
Yeah.
At times, minute by minute, hour by hour. There's calibrations going on. But to be able to put those tools in your toolkit to help you recalibrate your frequency, it's extremely important if inhabiting and wanting to inhabit New Earth. Because if you're not inhabiting New Earth, there's struggle, there's resistance. See, New Earth inhabitants function or operate from non-judgment, non-resistance, and non-attachment. That's really important.
The non-attachment, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, the other aspect that I wanted to come back around is the social. Can you talk more about the social? This is really the service. It's like a responsibility.
It is. That is responsibility. What someone put on, it was a meme on Facebook just earlier today, and I said, that is exactly right. It says, hang around winners so that when you talk, it doesn't sound like you're bragging. Those elevators, because the more people that you surround yourself with, those new earthers who are creating and are open and are blazing trails in this new earth consciousness, those are the ones you want to surround yourself with. See, because I think Marianne, she said it better. She said it best when she says, when you shine your light, you give others around you permission to do the same thing. You know, to shine your light. So social is very important. That's where connection is. You know, we're all connected. It's oneness. When we get down to the core of it, it is absolute oneness. That drop in the ocean and the ocean in the drop, that's it. That's what we are, all one.
Yes.
So New Earth is really inhabitants of New Earth. Really not even try, and try is the wrong word. They endeavor to, because try says effort, and there's no effort, you know, in New Earth whatsoever. You embody these aspects of love, of oneness, of abundance, of enough, of worthiness. You inhabit those characteristics in New Earth.
Okay. We inhabit those characteristics in the face of everything, and we've been talking recently, and the old world that is crumbling from all the things that are not of integrity, we're seeing that, and so we're still in that world, right? And so we've been saying, how do we show up in a pandemic? Because even in this global situation, it's an incredible opportunity, right?
It is. It is. And who knew? We knew that an awakening, a mass awakening was happening, was going to happen, but who knew it would be through a pandemic that would bring, that would shut the world down for a while so that one could begin hearing and seeing through the heart space and not letting it go as mine.
Yes, and just the time to go within, or even within your own home, and create balance in your home. It's beautiful that there's so much opportunity. And, when you see some people saying, get back to work or whatever, people are working. I talk to people who are, right?
And so many people have found it's amazing to me, the stories that's coming out of the pandemic and the discoveries that's being made and watching the crumbling, because focus is changing. We are changing our focus. We are shifting our paradigm. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And where your energy is, that's where creation takes place. We are creators, here to create, incarnated to create. So therefore, focusing our energy and taking it off of what has been programmed and conditioned, from the start, and opening up to and allowing our highest and best good for ourselves and others. Because in doing that, we serve everyone.
Yes.
We serve everyone. We serve the whole of humanity.
Yep. And everything is up for such great change, and this is where New Earth leaders, and that includes everyone listening to this program, every one of you gets it and is a New Earth leader. And so when we look at, there is no going back to the old. It is over. It is done. And so as we look at in our social circles, we see the question of, schools. Well, we know that education, and it was due for a shift and a change, a new foundation of love. And could you imagine all of our beautiful New Earth way showers stepping up and going into schools if it fits and resonates with them, because there's so many different ideas for everybody. But
Right.
to see meditation in the schools, or to see creative ways to take a hybrid classroom. When you see that kids are spending, I see kids outside this summer playing with, it's like we're back in the 70s, Queen, where we're seeing kids swinging on ropes in trees and riding on their little scooters. And guess what? The parents are not around. Parents are probably working inside and saying, go play. But that's something cool. I've not seen kids playing as freely as they have. And so I think that's a beautiful thing. And so when you have a new school structure where that more kids can afford that time, that's a beautiful thing. So
I totally agree, Lauren. I absolutely do agree with that. I'm excited for what's going to unfold. Do I know? No. But there's no anxiousness about it. I'm kind of rubbing my hands together for this unfolding, and so happy to actually be a part of it, you know?
Mhm. Yes. Very interesting, and such an acceleration. I know that some were waiting for 2012 to be a big shift, or maybe an instantaneous shift, but we're in it. Okay, so here it is. It is New Earth, and we've talked a lot about how people just speak up now, whether this is letters to their editor as we're bridging to New Earth and just populating the masses, seeding the masses with these beautiful ideas, because people are listening now in new ways.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And you know what? And that's during my first year here. The first book, Considerations, A Guide for Moving Abroad, that was the catalyst, because within the 2 years that I've lived here, 2.5 years now, the first 2 years I wrote 3 books and started a brand. And the brand was Considerations of the Soul. Because what I'm saying here is that I don't want you to try an effort to get this at all. This community of thought. I ask Considerations of the Soul, ask you to do just that. Just consider. You know, consider this. Consider this community of thought and this possibility, you know, to shift in paradigm. It's okay to consider. Where you're standing at is not the end all be all to what is. You know, if you open yourself up to some other considerations.
Yes.
It's soft. It's just an invitation to consider. And that's when I consider myself planting seeds and watering plants. Where I go, watering plants of those who are seasoned, awakened souls. You know, us ourselves who are awakened, we always can, you know, hear a good word or get our plants watered.
Mhm.
And
well, I love your Considerations of the Soul, because it's also considerate, and I think people are being considerate of each other more these days. People are aware of each other more these days. Yes, maybe locking down and not glancing at others in the same way, but we have discussed this where we can wear a face mask and bring New Earth. We can show up, we can wear a face mask and help people shift. We can still spread our love, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Absolutely. So with the course, and as a representative of New Earth and as a light worker, I'm excited to talk about what inhabiting New Earth feels like. You know, what it looks like, the language of it.
Yeah.
So those participating in the course will definitely at the end be able to recognize and speak the language, well, at least transcend the vibration of words. You know, feel the vibration of words.
Feel it.
And especially the language of New Earth. They'll be able to describe and embody the characteristics of one who is inhabiting New Earth. They'll be utilizing and shifting techniques to obtain and maintain the desired frequency, bandwidth, to remain New Earth bound. And then they'll walk away and possess a personalized New Earth toolkit, starter kit, if you will, for their own, to keep moving forward in that direction to New Earth.
Mm-hmm. That's so beautiful. All right, so that course is a Mastery Empowerment course, and it's coming up in August.
Yeah.
8/22. What a beautiful day, 8/22. And it's typically about 2 hours, but there is no time limit, and sometimes these classes go even 3 hours. We'll leave it up to the information that needs to present itself, and then it's always really fun to be with everyone and share in that way and see other people. So that will be there. And the link on our page gets people to that event and also the ebooks as well. So the ebooks, you also have a book called Considerations.
There's 3 books.
A Guide for Moving Abroad. Yeah,
right, that's the first one. And see, that book right there, and I say again, the catalyst, because of that word considerations. So it's things you would want to consider when moving abroad. It's 10 chapters, and each chapter is a consideration. I mean, consider visas, consider finances, consider health care, consider family and friends, consider downsizing. So it was and has been extremely helpful for those who are on that consideration track for moving abroad. And then the second one is the road to well-being. That's where the 6 aspects of well-being are unpacked and discussed: the healthy, the unhealthy, and how to balance those aspects throughout while you're working and living and having your beingness. And then the third, of course, is the handbook, the primer to New Earth living, which is Traveling Home Together.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Those are the 3 books. And the premise of Traveling Home Together is I'm basically saying the universe is our playground and Earth is our school. Readers are encouraged throughout to be mindful that we're all traveling home. We're all traveling home together, back to non-physical, you know. And it activates readers back into a state of remembrance of who they are and why they're here. As you know, my work is light-coded, so yes, activations do take place. But, you know, I do it metaphorically through I was a walker. I walked home from school. And so I metaphorically take them through the things we did walking home from school, like holding hands and playing and taking different routes and sharing our goodies. And all through that are nuggets to living New Earth now. Inhabiting New Earth now. So that Traveling Home Together is a jewel, and I know that it will assist anyone, anywhere who comes into any contact with my content. But also the 4-pack affirmations that helps with New Earth, assisting in New Earth. There's 4. One is how to put the ego in the back seat and let your soul self in the front seat. Another one is living abundantly. One is vibe raising, how to raise your vibration. And the 4th one is New Earth living. Just good affirmations to keep you balanced and mindful that you're living New Earth now, or that you could.
Yes. And those are audios as well, right?
Yes, those are audio.
Audio affirmations, very good. Ego in the back seat. That really is good because this allows the higher self to come through.
Exactly.
And really that is the way of New Earth, right? How do you, when you connect into your higher self, we were just talking about this today, this higher self voice that speaks to us, how did you recognize your higher self voice?
Through a guided meditation. I remember I was visiting my daughter in Salem, Oregon, and I did a 21-day meditation with Oprah and Deepak. And after the 21 days was over, I kept going with that. And but now I moved into a guided meditation that I believe it even said introduction into your, meet your higher self. It was a self-guided meditation, not self-guided. It was a guided meditation, and through that, I did in fact encounter and came to know the voice of my soul self. And not only, again, I'm saying this place where, this Lake Chapala place, is this very high energy. And I also partook in sacred medicine at one point. And that's another tool that helped just move me along on my awakened journey, the journey to awakening.
Okay. Well, it's beautiful. We could do it in meditation. There's hypnosis as well, regression. It's beautiful. And when we hear that voice, we realize, wow, I've heard that voice before. And it is beautiful.
It's so familiar. It's so, It's about an old friend or meeting an old trusted friend. And that's my whole platform that I stand on, is encouraging people to go within, because everything that you need answered and to know is within. Your soul self has all the answers. And it knows the path of least resistance, the one that'll take you down with ease.
So what do you do to connect in then with your higher self and ask those questions?
After connecting with my higher self through the guided meditation, I now go in and personally, and it's my higher self, but there's a council, there's ancestors, there's a league, there's a team, there's angels, there's all that's there, for we are all one, that lead, guide, and direct you. Yes, you have your soul self, that larger part of you, that consciousness that stayed non-physical while you incarnated. Yes, it's that right there that makes up your soul self, but you are connected to all that is. How do I connect to my soul self? Through meditation, through nature, through body work, through breath work. I do the work consistently. I do the inner work consistently. I meet with my team daily to navigate New Earth, to stay within that realm of consciousness. I am a frequency holder. I hold frequency. I hold light. I anchor light. That's part of my light work. People meet me and they say, I feel your energy. I see your energy. I'm holding it and codes, because when I speak and because when I write, there's activations that are being taken, that take place with people. They'll come along.
Everyone is expanding. Everyone's expanding.
In the meantime and in between time, I get to enjoy, the abundance of being here in this realm and living heaven on earth.
It's a state of consciousness, as you've said, and we use it with our words, and we shift it where we need to, recalibrate. And a comment coming in from listeners is, I love the idea of letting effort go in exchange for embodiment. So we do. It's when we say surrender to divine will or surrender to the higher self, that's the ego. And so
put them in the back seat. You put them in the back seat, and I talk about that strongly in Traveling Home Together. What the ego is, how the ego came about, and what you can do. Now, it's not like the ego is a bad thing. I mean, the ego is our defense mechanism, you know, that fight or flight. The ego is a thought producer, and the ego is a thought processor, you know. So, yes, the ego has a place, but it's in the back seat. As the soul self, if you live from your heart space, soul self is driving. Soul self is leading, guiding, and directing. It knows the best routes everywhere, every time, everyone. It's the game changer. Alignment with your soul self is the game changer. That's New Earth living.
That's New Earth living, okay. And so do you ever see that your ego could come in and doubt or override? So, for example, that you're driving down a road. I mean, we all have examples of this where it's easy to look back in hindsight, which is 2020, and see, wow, I should have listened. But we're getting better and better at it, right? So say, for example, you're driving on a road and you just know where to go. Or your ego could come in with fear, right? Or not.
Absolutely. Always. But here's the thing. What I love about soul self-driving is that when ego does speak up, when ego does try to take control, because it's used to it. I mean, it's had the front seat for quite some time. So to be put in the back seat when it does, you more readily catch it. And I've said things, being that it's a thought producer and a processor, I can stop ego by saying, that's not my thought. I don't receive that. And it moves just like that. Okay. It moves just like that. And that's something we'll discuss too. Those moment moving, recalibrating thoughts that counter ego and sit him back down like, sit him right back down in the back seat. Yeah.
Well, he's made us go, too much of our life. So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, time to feel empowered. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll definitely during the course be talking about those physical anchors and methods and techniques to resonate with the frequencies of New Earth.
Yes. Beautiful, because that is our way, and the higher self connection is the way as well, everything that you're talking about, and just this immaculate awareness and non-judgmental self-observation of ourselves as we go through this is really the way forward. And
absolutely, it's the way forward.
And it's really good to have someone like yourself share with us those particulars because it is very helpful. So thank you for that. So as we look at our world and New Earth, when we say hold the vision of New Earth, because that helps with our solutions that come forth, what do you see or feel about New Earth?
Holding it.
Yes, holding the vision, or what is your vision with this state of consciousness?
Eternalness, and that's the main thing I encourage people to consider is their eternalness. We are eternal beings, and we are here in Earth School to create. To expand. And there's no getting it wrong in this. And there's no getting it done. it's expansion and creation to infinity. So if you can wrap your heart around the eternalness of your soul, then it'll be very easy to live New Earth now and not when you return to non-physical. Now. So take away your eternalness and that you are eternal.
That is beautiful. And we can feel the activation in that.
Yes.
And we feel vibrant and ready to go. I trust that everyone feels vibrant from that and ready to go, ready to create. Yay.
Yay.
Well, thank you so much for this, Queen. It has been a beautiful conversation. I want to recommend the course to our listeners on this webpage. There's a link to that. And of course, the books that we talked about and the audio affirmations. That's really a great value, so we want to thank you for that. We're looking forward to that course coming up in August. We'll let everyone know again. We'll encore this show as well, and we'll let everyone know as that date draws near. But we're looking forward to that as we fully embrace living New Earth now. So, Queen, as we say goodbye today, is there anything else you'd like to add that we didn't touch upon yet?
Yes, and with considerations of the soul, and embracing oneness and embracing eternalness, there's a way I like to greet and to leave a situation or conversation, if you will. So it goes something like this. I simply say, one light. And in response, you say, one love. You got that, Lauren?
Got that. I love it.
All right. So with that, and for those who hung in there and continue to listen, thank you so much for listening. And I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to say one light. And when I do, I want you to say one love. And watch, just in that instant, your vibration is going to rise just a little bit. Okay?
Okay.
So with that, have a good evening, Lauren. One light.
One love. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We can feel that shift in vibration. That was Queen Michele with us today. She is New Earth embodiment, living it as an inhabitant. And so are you, and so are we, and we thank you for that. Now we dance our way to the cosmic heart. this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts, as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.